What's going on, guys? My name is Eldeniro and welcome to episode 27, I think we're now at, of my Leicester City career mode on FIFA 15. We're starting this episode off with some bad news that we received at the end of the last game from the last episode, which was against West Bromwich Albion, and Sinclair got injured. He's going to be out for 4 weeks, but here's a look at the league table. The draw against West Brom didn't really matter. We still retain our position in 4th place in the league, which is so ridiculous. A couple of people have been saying, like, it's unrealistic, you know, there's no way that Leicester would be there after one season, and like, I agree with you, but there's nothing I can do. You know, I'm playing on the highest possible difficulty, and I still don't go into any game expecting a victory. I still feel like it's very difficult. I feel like all the wins I've had so far have been just luck, really. Like, I don't feel in any way good at this game just yet, but I'm getting the results and I'm in a really high league position, and there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. I'm not going to play worse just for realism's sake. As much as I care about realism, I care about winning more. So that's just that. So the first game in this episode is against Arsenal, as you can see on the screen. They have beaten us twice out of the 2 times that we've ever played them, and both times was a result of late goals, which, because they just break my heart every time, and it's really annoying. But as you can see here in the 26th minute with Welbeck on the ball, this is the type of way that Arsenal play in this game. They will pass you to absolute death. It's like, even when they have possession and they don't want to go forward, they'll pass it back. They don't care. They just want to hold on to possession. But their shot did end up cannoning off the crossbar in the 29th minute there, and I think it was a Ramsey shot, I'm not too sure, but Ramsey was heavily involved in this game. He was a player that they always did seek to get on the ball. Like, you see there Oxlade-Chamberlain going back to Monreal. Like, look how fast this passing is. It's absolutely ridiculous and impossible to defend. But we came into the second half with like one opportunity from holding the ball, really, and that was from kickoff, and as a result of that we did get an attack going as Abner crosses it in towards Gale. He doesn't get a shot, but the keeper does fall over, and the ball comes to Wilfried Zaha, who scores his first goal from open play of the season, having scored his first from the penalty spot in the last episode. And that's as a result of Zaha playing in the false 9, or the centre forward position, I think. But yeah, that was what happened there. And then Arsenal came and equalised just 10 minutes later with Podolski scoring. That's one of those shots that I hate being on the receiving end of these, that they make the goalkeeper dive too early. Like, they completely put the goalkeeper out of sorts with the way that they move. It's when the player, usually an opposition player, because I've never tried to score a shot like this, but they have their back to goal, or maybe their side to goal, or whatever, and they hit the ball while it's on the roll, so they get more momentum into it, and it just ends up being on target and beating the goalkeeper. We've conceded a couple like that this season, and it's really annoying. But Edin Dzeko's shot goes just wide in the 65th minute, the player that they signed from Manchester City last season. And then in the 72nd minute, Ramsey comes down the left hand side of the pitch. He passes it into Nacho Monreal, who has a look up and sees all the options available to him, but goes back to Ramsey, who finds Flamini, who finds Podolski, who finds Mesut Ozil, who came off the bench. His shot was saved by Kasper Schmeichel at the near post, and thankfully we did hold on and manage to get a little bit closer to this point. But it's Arsenal, it's the last minute, this is what they do. Lucas Podolski coming forward inside the box, options everywhere for him. He goes from Monreal, who crosses it into Edin Dzeko, whose header hits the crossbar and goes over the bar, thankfully for us. Then in the 90th minute, inside stoppage time, Jeffrey Schlupp is on the ball. He looks up and plays it into Jack Grealish, but Per Mertesacker gets there first. However, he dawdled on the ball for too long, and it comes to Jack Grealish, who finesses it into the corner of the net and puts us into the lead with a very late goal. The goal that we owe Arsenal. It's not the goal that they need, it's the goal that they deserve. And Jack Grealish was the man to do it with his first goal of the season. His first goal in a Leicester jersey came against Man United, and his first goal this season came against Arsenal. What a player, what a dramatic moment. And that's how that game turned out. We ended up winning, and afterwards I went in, I made a bid for Tom Huddlestone, because a lot of you guys were saying, like, a lot of you guys just said, yeah, sign him, it's a realistic signing. And to be honest, it's awesome for me that you guys think that, because I just remember, like, on FIFA 14, anytime I'd sign an old player, there'd always be some comments like, oh, sign 18-year-olds and stuff. But I did make a bid for Huddlestone. Didn't expect to get him, because 2 million plus Nugent is not going to be enough to prize away a £6.5 million valued player who's on 65 grand a week. But I went for an Italian Klein, because his contract is up at the end of the season, and I thought that if they had any sense at all, they would just let me have this for 1 million plus Danny Simpson, which isn't really fair on them. But you have to start off slow. This is how negotiation and bargaining works, ladies and gentlemen. Here's a look at the league table. We are in third place. It's ridiculous, I know. I don't know how it's happening. It's mainly as a result of Liverpool and Arsenal and their inconsistent form. That's the only thing that I can really do to explain how ridiculous the whole thing is. We've only lost, 3 or 4 games, and it's just lunacy, to be honest. But if you guys want to check out the squad report, have a look on the screen right now. You'll see how we're doing. A couple of those young players that I signed were actually alright. The Connor Tab fella in goal has grown an awful lot. It seems like keepers kind of grow up to their potential a lot more than other players. Poor old Wes Morgan hasn't played a single game this season, and Tyler Blackett is only rated 65. I don't know what I'm going to do. We're into January now, obviously, as you saw by my transfer bids. But I don't want to loan anybody out, like the players who haven't really grown at all. Gary Mackay-Steven is a prime example of it. I don't want to loan them out. Like I know it's only for a couple of days and then you get them back, but there's so many fixtures in January that you don't really get a whole lot of time for the thing to breathe, like for it to move along. You don't really go from Monday to Friday in one click in January because there are so many fixtures. So I don't know what to do. I'm just going to have to hold on to them and wait till the end of the season, because I feel like any little bit of tinkering with this team that isn't effective enough, I feel like that's going to lead to us playing less well. And I'm really, now that we're in a top 3 position, I really do not want to relinquish a European spot at the end of the season. So we'll see what happens. Valencia made a bid for Mark Albrighton, and I said if they give me 4 million they can have him. I could have asked for more, and for the people who were like, you could have gotten 4.5 million, like, you're right, I could have, but I just didn't want to risk it. I wanted to get rid of him because he's going to come back to me any day now and say, I want 30 grand a week or else I'm leaving, and I don't have 30 grand a week to offer him because I wanted to bring in other players. Matty James is similar. I'm not giving him 15 grand a week, so I think I'm going to have to sign another central midfielder. So on my shopping list for right midfielders, I have got that Ince guy. Is his name Tom Ince, or is it Tom Ince? Obviously it's not Paul Ince because that's his dad, but Tom Ince, Andros Townsend. There's a couple of other players in there. I haven't decided. I haven't bid for any of them yet. I want to wait for the Albrighton deal to go through. And speaking of Albrighton, he takes this corner in the 25th minute. It comes out to Zaha, who volleys it, and it's saved by Brad Guzan. This is against Aston Villa, as you can see. And we approach the half-hour mark with Benteke out-muscling Camera on the ball and getting the ball back, as he has options in the middle, but he plays it into Charles and Zogbia, who gets to the edge of the area and shoots, but it goes just wide. And it was a little bit of a threat from Aston Villa, but from the goal kick, I had to look up, and I always play out, and I didn't see Vyman in behind Craig Moore, and he came in and ended up scoring because Kasper Schmeichel passed the ball straight to him. And this was such a horrific moment for me. Like, I hate doing stupid things like that, and I wouldn't mind, but I only played this today, and I said to you guys yesterday, I was like, don't ever try passing it out of defense. That's what'll fuck you over. And then that's exactly what I tried to do, and that's exactly why they scored. But we came forward 2 minutes later trying to make things right and get the all-important equaliser. I went on the attacking mentality straight away, although it doesn't really seem to do a lot by way of pushing players forward or anything like that. I don't really get what the attacking thing does, to be honest. But in the 41st minute, Zaha gets on the ball. He has no options really, but he manages to find Gardner on the edge of the box, who plays in a great ball to Camera, but unfortunately his volley went wide. And as we enter stoppage time at the end of the first half, Villa came on the offensive. I'm fairly sure this was a counter-attack from them, as Delph plays it to Benteke. He finds Nzogbia, who finds the goal scorer Vyman, who sees his shot saved by Kasper Schmeichel. But I was throwing everything forward in the second half. As you can see, 30 minutes have passed. Jack Grealish is on the pitch. He plays it to Wilfried Zaha, who goes behind and finds Jeffrey Schlupp, who came off the bench. Jeffrey Schlupp's dipping shot had to be tipped away by Brad Guzan and out for a corner kick. And this pretty much led to a series of corners. We come up to 10 minutes later with one of our corners as Schlupp goes up. He manages to win another corner from this header. And this was the way the game was going. Like, we were just pushing everything forward trying to get that goal. Albrighton's cross found Camera in the box, but it didn't do anything for him. Boyata gets the ball on the edge of the area. He plays it back into Camera, who at the second time of asking almost produces the all-important equaliser. But we brought on Chinaglia, we brought on Schlupp, and we brought on Jack Grealish. All of these players playing in advanced positions. We're on all-out attack at this point. Boyata plays the ball into Chinaglia, who takes on Ron Vlaar and manages to get round him with ease before getting into a position to shoot and levelling the game game for us in stoppage time at the end of the second half. The big Italian striker, who's only 18 years old, who I have no deal to bring back in on a permanent deal after his loan is done from Inter Milan. He manages to turn up, and this was like the second time I've ever played him in the league. And thankfully, he managed to score that all-important goal for us and rescue a point against Aston Villa. And that's what I mean when I say I don't feel confident in games. I don't. Like, we only got a draw. But here's a look at the fixtures from that day. Now, there's obviously no way that I could have, faked this or cheated this or anything. But Man City drew with West Brom. And as a result of that, despite only getting a draw at home to Villa, we're still in third place in the league. So I don't know why that keeps happening. It's very strange, but it's awesome. And if we could keep a top 3 position, I'd be delighted. We're not gonna though. But Valencia accepted our bid or our counter offer from Mark Albrighton, so they're gonna go and talk contract stuff. And if Albrighton does leave, we'll have a little bit of extra money to play with in January, which would be pretty cool. But that's the end of this episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please do leave a like rating. That would be much appreciated. I've been El Dinero. Thanks for watching.